So from here we're going forward. The next expression of the relationship is called a times ratio. So now also, what is a time ratio? Again, the same relationship we can express it differently. So here, return on capital employed is equal to capital by profit. What is my capital? My capital is 10 lakhs. What is my profit? My profit is 4 lakhs. So if you do this, you get 2.5 times. This is called that. So the answer is, okay, the answer is 2.5. So I call I put the answer as 2.5 times. So now what do you mean by this? Therefore, I can interpret as my capital is 2.5 times my profit. My capital is 2.5 times my profit. So this is another expression of the relationship, that we can express relationship as a times ratio also. And finally, we said that we can express this relationship even as a fraction ratio. So we go for the last thing, that is fraction. That is a fraction ratio. Now let us see what do you mean by this. So return on capital employed. So it is return, it is profit divided by capital. When you do this, your profit is 4 lakhs, your capital is 10 lakhs. Your profit is 4, capital is 10 lakhs. So you get a fraction like 2 by 5. So your answer is 2 by 5. Now what does this mean? I can interpret, therefore my profit is 2/5 of my capital. My profit is 2/5 of my capital. So these are the various ways in which you can express. So this 2.5 times, this is a times ratio, and this 2/5 is a fraction ratio. So the same example where my profit is 4 and my capital is 10 lakhs, we expressed here as a simple ratio. We expressed here as a percentage ratio. We expressed here as a times ratio. We expressed here as a fraction ratio. So the mode of expression depends upon the kind of ratio for which we are calculating the data for. But this is what is the expression of a ratio. So ratio is a relationship between two or more business transactions. Here the two transactions were profit and capital. This transaction is taken from the financial statement, so profit has been taken from the profit and loss account, balance sheet so capital has been taken from the balance sheet. It's not necessary that we can take both the transactions from profit and loss account, or both the transactions from balance sheet, or we can take both the transactions either from profit and loss account and balance sheet put together. So any combination is fine. So they are taken from the financial statement, and the relationship between these two, we are expressing them, therefore it is understandable to even a layman. And that expression can be a simple percentage times or a fraction ratio, and this has been the example for it. So in every problem, your final answer would be in one of these mode of expression. So that is what is ratio. And what does this mode of expression do? It enables us in analyzing the data, that is interpreting the data. Why do we need this? We need this for decision making. Now, having understood what is ratio and what is analysis, the ratio is a relationship, the analysis we analyze it in terms of this so that interpretation become easy. Next, we go for the types of ratios. For the sake of convenience, all the ratio that we study in this chapter for our syllabus, we categorize all this ratio into 4 categories. We categorize all the ratios into 4 categories. The first category is called liquidity ratio. Liquidity ratio. The next category is solvency ratio. The next category is turnover ratios. And the next category is profitability ratio. So for the sake of convenience and easy understanding, all the ratios are categorized for our syllabus into 4 categories: liquidity ratio, solvency ratio, turnover ratio and profitability ratio. Under liquidity ratio, we see 2 types of liquidity ratio. One, current ratio, and 2, quick ratio. I just want to continue the numbers. So, current ratio and quick ratio. Now, next, I'll be continuing the number. Third, under solvency ratio, what do we see? We see debt equity ratio. Next, 4, we see total assets to debt ratio. We see debt equity ratio, total assets to debt ratio, then proprietary ratio, and 6, we see interest coverage ratio. And we look at interest coverage. Interest coverage ratio. Continuing the number for here, next we look at turnover ratios. In turnover ratios, we see debtors, turnover ratio. Next we see creditors, turnover ratio. Next we see working capital. No, next we see inventory, turnover ratio. Next we see working capital, turnover ratio. So we see debtors turnover ratio, creditors turnover ratio, inventory turnover ratio, and working capital turnover ratio. And finally we come to the profitability ratio. I'm continuing the number. We see gross profit ratio. Next we see net profit ratio. Next we see operating profit ratio. Next we see operating ratio. Next we see return on investment. So like this, these are the ratios which are there. These are the ratios which are there for our syllabus. So totally we have 2 liquidity ratios, 4 solvency ratios, 4 turnover ratios, 5 profitability ratios, all put together as 15. So we have around 90 problems, and these 90 problems we'll try to understand all this application of all these 15 types of ratios. So that's the scope of a syllabus. This is the scope of a syllabus, and when we go to the problems, we'll go topic by topic. First we'll see liquidity ratios, then we'll look at solvency ratios, then turnover ratios, then profitability ratios accordingly. So finally, coming to the conclusion. So what is a ratio? Ratio is nothing but it is a relationship. Relationship between what? Relationship between two or more business transactions. Now, from where do we get this business transactions? We take the business transactions from the financial statements. Now, what are the financial statements? We know that they're profit and loss account and balance sheet. So from this financial statement, we draw certain business transactions and we try to relate it. And we express that relationship either in the form of a simple ratio, percentage ratio, times ratio, or a fraction ratio. Why is that we are expressing? Because raw data cannot be understood. So in order to make it understandable even to a layman who is not related to accounts, therefore we try to make it simpler. Therefore the expression is there. So once we make it simpler, then analysis becomes very easy. We can interpret that information so that it enables us in decision making. So that is what is all about ratio analysis. This is just the introduction. From the next class, we will pick up one concept. We'll understand in detail, do problems relating to that particular concept, and then go forward to the next concept. So I hope you have understood the class. I hope today's class was easy, and thank you.